As school is back in session, many parents have still raised concerns about the new sex education curriculum set to enter into classrooms later this year. To talk to us a little bit more about what parents can do to make their voices heard when it comes to this new controversial curriculum is Jon Mitchell from the Institute of Marriage and Family Canada. Welcome, Jon.
Well, thanks for having me.
So what would be, I know the last time we spoke, the curriculum wasn't out yet, but we had speculated and thought that it would be quite similar to the one that was introduced years ago. What would be the advice that you would give parents now actually having read the curriculum?
Yeah, so it is very similar to the curriculum that was originally presented in 2010 and then rescinded for a rethink. And so many of the same concerns that were there for some parents in 2010 remain as well. We're now back into school, and the ministry said it's going to go ahead with the curriculum. There are still parents that have come together in coalitions and are raising their voices about it. So I now see this transitioning into the classroom. And in particular, I think it's going to be important for parents to develop a relationship with their classroom teacher and to be able to express what their concerns might be and develop that healthy relationship so that they can navigate the year ahead on this curriculum. Of course, it's helpful to do in education in general. Parents are the primary educator. The teacher comes in and plays a role in that as well. And so I would encourage parents to develop that relationship now in September with their teacher.
Now, have you heard from parents? And if you have, what kind of are their concerns when it comes to the curriculum, those that have actually read the curriculum?
Yeah, I think the curriculum, the two basic concerns are first that it's too much too soon, that some of the content just seems to be delivered too early. There's some concerns perhaps about that content, some uncertainty about how that content will be presented in the classroom. And certainly there's concern as well over the process of parents having input in that. A lot of parents feel like they didn't have adequate input into the curriculum as well. So I think that contributes to some of that concern. We do know, of course, that from the Association of American Child and Adolescent Psychologists, or psychiatrists actually rather, suggests that we respond to children's curiosity levels. We want to give them enough information. We don't want to give them too little. Too much. Parents are in the best position, obviously, to make that determination, and that's the difficulty with a universal curriculum like this.
And I think it's important to say that there has been a lot of confusing information that's been out there. And I know one thing that many people who've come on the show have said that it's important to make sure that parents read the curriculum and not read all of the blogs and all of the posts that have been out there and circulating social media, but actually inform themselves on what the curriculum says so that when they do go to their teachers or their principals, they're speaking with education and information.
Yeah, I think it helps for parents to do their homework and to read the curriculum. Even it is quite a dense document. It covers more than just sexual health. It covers all kinds of health issues. Conveniently, though, it is broken up by grade so that you can look at the content that will be taught in a particular age of your child. And it's also appropriate to ask the teacher about what resources are they going to use. Would you be willing to send them home so that we can review them before we see them, so we have an opportunity to talk about this at home before the student comes to class, or in some cases make a decision about whether the student will be in class.
I know one point that we mentioned in our previous conversation months ago was the option of opting out, and that's something that Liz Sandals, the education minister, has said that every parent will have access to or the option to do. We heard probably last week that Peel Region has said that they won't allow children to opt out of certain classrooms or certain class discussions. How do you feel about that? What's been the response to that?
I think it's been generally quite confusing for parents because there's been different messages out there at different times, whether parents will be able to opt out or not. Certainly, Canada is a signatory of agreements that at the international level that would suggest that parents have the right to ensure the moral education of their children. Earlier in February, the Ministry of Education was saying that there's aspects of the the Education Act that talk about that as well. And also, indeed, even in the curriculum, even in the language of the curriculum, it does talk about parents being the primary educators when it comes to personal beliefs, religious values, ethnocultural values, those sorts of things as well. So there's certainly a lot there that would suggest that parents have that primary role to make that decision making. It seems like it's being passed off to the boards of education, and I think the real challenge is that Ontario classrooms are so diverse, as classrooms across Canada are, and that different values, different backgrounds are all going to be represented in the same classroom, and the classroom teacher is going to be the one that's going to have to navigate and negotiate all these different values that are represented in the class, and that's a heavy task.
Yeah. Parting words, what are your last words or words of encouragement for parents as they send their kids off to school knowing that they'll be teaching or learning this new curriculum?
Well, we know from lots of research, whether it's peer-reviewed data, whether it's from surveying, that parents have the primary role, that they're the most influential people in the sexual decision-making of their teens. We know that what you say and what you do are vitally important. We know that the kind of relationship, the quality of relationship that parents build with their children results in things like delayed entry into sexual activity, reduced likelihood of pregnancy. Really, parents, what you say and what you do really matters, regardless of what's in the curriculum.
Well said. Thanks again, Jon Mitchell from the Institute of Marriage and Family Canada.